Perfect. All right, Duff Daddies and Duff Mamas. We welcome on now. You guys have probably heard of the name. One of my favorite stories, I think, from the 2020 and 2021 year on any type of golfing platforms at all. This man, at 17 years old, was able to convince a Korn Ferry Tour player to have him caddy for him when his caddy went into quarantine. And before I get it wrong, Landon, you guys did make the cut, correct?
We did, indeed.
Twice, right?
We made it
or
once.
Just once.
Missed it once.
That's okay. Well, anyways, I already gave it away. Landon Durham on the podcast. Thank you very much for joining, kind sir. We appreciate you being here.
Happy to be here, my man. I appreciate you having me on.
So first off,
we got to start out. How did that even come about? Did you just say, "Hey, Mr. Korn Ferry Tour player, can I be your caddy?" Tell us the story. How did you start with? Bring us through that process. We have zero idea.
Man, that was I really need to so I did a story on it on my TikTok before, I kind of got a little bit more of a following, but it was such a bizarre scenario. I ended up qualifying. They had this qualifying in the landings where I live for 4 kids to get in to play in the Pro-Am with these guys. And so I shot 2 under, qualified for that, got in, went and played in the Pro-Am with Jamie Arnold, super cool Australian guy. Went and played with him. We're on the putting green. All of a sudden the caddy master just walks up to me. He knew me through I don't know if he knew me through following, I think he said something about school newspaper scores or whatever. So you kind of know who the golfers are in the neighborhood, and he came up to me and he was like, "Hey, I got this first alternate guy. If you want to sit around all day and get paid, and maybe if he gets in, you get to go do it." And then it was tomorrow. The next day was my birthday, and I was like, my parents aren't going to say no to this. So I texted them, and they were like, "Yeah, go for it." So got up at 5:30 a.m. and went over there, and we stayed the entire day. Nobody dropped out. So he was like, "Screw it, you want to go play?" And we went and played and kind of hit it off from there.
Brilliant to ask your parents on your birthday. No way they're going to say no.
Yeah. One step ahead, right?
Oh, man. I mean, I just heard you shooting 2 under, and I will never, ever, ever get to that point in my entire life, since I'm already, over the point where I'm probably going to get any better at golf anyways. So how is that just playing? I mean, playing in the Pro-Am, do players kind of look at you and okay, he's probably decent. And then you go out there and they're like, "Holy crap, how did that, what happened here?"
It's funny for me because when I kind of started this, really started playing competitive golf, I was I'm 5'8", 5'9" now, but I was 5'4", 5'5", and everybody just kind of looks at you like, "Oh, okay, he probably doesn't really hit it that far, or he's probably all right." And then it is really, I'm not gonna lie, it's really fun to hit it 293, 310, and they're like, "Oh." Every single, but no, Jamie was a super cool guy, and he was he was the only guy out there that played all 18 holes with us, because usually you switch off after 9 on the Pro-Am. Mm-hmm. But he played all 18. He was such a cool guy and super interested in us, talking to us. It was an amazing experience.
That's sick.
I just wonder how people who are either smaller or just have not a lot of muscle, how they can hit, looking at Ricky Fowler, how does he hit it 3 and change?
Abe Answer.
Abe Answer, you know what I mean?
Is my guy. He's awesome. And he is they list him at 5'7", I think. He's no taller than 5'5". He is the small. I've stood next to him before. He's the smallest human being I've ever met in my entire life.
Yeah, and he rips the cover off the ball.
He hits at 310. Yeah. He freaking outdrives half the guys who are 6'5", for Christ's sakes.
The game is. Then you go to your TikTok and you see the mechanics of your swing, and it's just it's not even. And you're like, okay, that's how he hits that far. I mean, it's very impressive. I like watching your swing. It's something to aspire to. That's for sure.
I appreciate that. Sweet. It's there's so many comments that are always like, "Why do you get your hands so high?" And I'm like, "Guys, I'm tiny. I gotta get all the power I can get.
You gotta use everything you got."
Yeah, pretty much. Put my whole back into it.
You snap, yeah. And Will Zalatoris, I feel like that kind of your swing kind of reminds me a little bit of Willie Z. We put money on Willie Z on this show on our draft
Daily week. Yeah,
fantasy
weekly
lineups.
basis.
But
Yeah. He loses us
even
money a
our
lot of
but
times.
at a local level, I don't know if you're familiar with Davis Chatfield. Like he's a smaller kid, plays at Notre Dame. He's from just around our neck of the woods. But when I watched him in a couple of tournaments when he was younger, even in high school, like he's so small. But I mean, these guys, you don't even need to necessarily drive it great or drive it far if you're dialed in elsewhere, and that kid was dialed in elsewhere, but being able to go long can't beat
Yeah,
it.
it's beneficial, but at the same time, I'd rather just put one right down the middle and then let my irons do it or wedges do it. But
Have you been playing your whole life? Like just
I've been playing. Well, I played since I was like 4, where I lived in St. Louis, and then I really just I didn't even get competitive until my junior year. But then my junior year was completely cut off because of COVID, and so then really my senior year was the year that I just started working everything, and through injuries and stuff like that, like it was just hectic.
Are you a Cardinals fan? I gotta ask.
A little bit. I'm not as crazy as I used to be when I lived there, but I'm still a bit of a fan.
I respect that. It's a good fan base.
It is a good fan base.
Yeah, I remember Landon kind of seeing a couple of your videos about like the injury itself and how you even mentioned like, there's a lot of people like we always hear about it, the not really the jokes, but like how Jordan and Justin at like 10 years old, they have pictures of them at like these, the junior PGA events and like all this stuff. So as someone coming in, I wouldn't say later in life, but like I cause like people start golfing at like 35, but coming in a little bit later and then also having the injuries and really being able to kind of push through that, like how was that kind of what was going on in your mind through that entire time?
Well, okay, so my freshman and sophomore year, I spent in Costa Rica, and we decided to, I didn't really play that much, and so we decided to move back. I was like, I want to make golf my thing. Like, this is what I want to do. And so I moved back, and then when I started to finally make progress, and I got injured, and the entire time I was just thinking, like, I moved back to do this. Like, what is going on? Like, this was my entire dream, and I can't do anything to fix it. Like, but I knew that I was like, I moved back to do this. I'm not just going to give up just because something happened out of my control. It's just the way life goes. So I was just like, I'm still going to make it happen. It just kind of motivated me in a different way, even more.
And then
Kid's
so
a fighter. Kid's a
events.
fighter. I'm throwing my money there. Man, I love it. I love it. What did you have? What were you bat? Like, was it golf that just the swing that was breaking you down, or did you have like an accident or?
It's another bizarre story. I got COVID my first day of my senior year, and I don't know if I went back too early. If I was like I got pretty sick, so I was like, I don't know if I went back too early and I was like weak or something. And it started as shoulder pain. And I was like, oh, this is weird. And then it kind of just moved that down my back. So it was probably being too weak, and then going back into the game that fractured it, and then kind of did some PT, fixed it. I had a back brace for 4 months.
That's the great thing about golf too. Sorry, I cut you off, Landon. Like you can manipulate your swing, like you can try and figure it out other ways and still score, and you seem to be someone who like to shoot 2 under, like in front of people that like play golf well. Like that's obviously you're a hell of a golfer, man.
I appreciate that. Yeah, it's for me, it's weird because I love cameras and stuff like that. Like I love doing TikTok and stuff like that. I've always been filming stuff. So for me, when I'm like around cameras or I guess celebrities, like those guys are pretty well known. It just doesn't really. I'm just like, oh, these are just some cool guys. They're the same type of people, like off camera as they are on camera. It's just kind of the way I want to want to be.
Oh yeah.
So
Does it heighten your focus at all? Or are you the same golfer as when you play by yourself? Or
I mean, of course, that heightens your focus. You're like, oh my god, like I want to, I want to put this one right down the middle. This guy's great. Definitely heightens
nerves?
your focus, but it's just for me with working with Kevin for so long. It doesn't really phase me anymore. They're just people. They're awesome guys.
That's cool. So you've channeled the nerves into something positive. Like you can either somebody, I mean, I know if there's a big crowd around the first tee, I'm shanking it into the woods or something, like just because of those sheer nerves. But I'm glad you can, use that to your advantage. And you say you're comfortable around that. I mean, that's half the battle, I'm sure, for PGA Tour players, at least at first, I'm sure. And then, so I'm looking at all your stats of all your tournaments and things like that. I didn't even know this. So this is pretty cool. Wild. And first of all, what I like of what I see is your averages on par threes, par fours, and par five. I am just astonished that the averages start with the actual number that the par is. So like par three.
Not us, Landon. Not us, sir.
That's incredible. But then I'm seeing some magical scores on some really good courses. I mean, I got to hear all about these courses.
This is great. This is awesome.
So
there's definitely some good courses on there.
you played at Palmetto Dunes. I mean, that must have been wild. I mean,
that's a cool course. Yeah, that's fun.
Are you like Sean McVay, like where you can pull
at
every
Palmetto Dunes on Hilton Head? Or
yeah, it's the Fazio.
Fazio? Yeah, that's the hardest. That's the hardest of the three. That's brutal. And did you shoot under par?
Tough. I think I shot like 70, 72, 73 or something.
I can tell you exactly what you shot. No, yeah, you're right. It's right at 72, 73. Round one.
Unreal.
Unbelievable.
I've played the Hills course. I've also played the Hills course there too. I'm telling you, man, the Hills one has a ton of water. Yeah. I think the Hills one might actually be the toughest, but 18 holes, I had 18 balls. Like, I'm not afraid to admit that. Like, I put like that, the amount of water on that course, like over here where I live in Sea Pines, like there's a good amount of water, and then you play Harbor Town and there's no water until hole 17, which is hilarious. But like there's here and there, and then you go over to Palmetto Dunes and it is just built into every single course there. It is nuts how many balls I lost that day. Like, I started out with Titleists and I ended with Pinnacles, man. That's that's how it went. That was one of those days. But that's
every single golfer's had one of those days, man.
Oh yeah, I've had more than one. Don't worry about that.
Don't slight the Pinnacles though.
No sliding the Pinnacles. I also could have gone with the Kirklands and they would have still looked like Titleists because
I think
they stole the Titleist
nice
technology, which Titleist did to Bridgestone, so it doesn't even really matter.
Hey, Kirkland get a bad rap. They get a bad rap.
Everybody steals everyone's technologies for golf balls. No, but that's, I mean, being able to play like going into that mindset, I guess, because like I've caddied for Mike before in like the amateur tournament around us. I know, Tim, you've played in. Did you play in the amateur tournament? You never played in it? I was not good enough. Mike played in it. He's pretty good.
Good. No, can't drive it straight. Can't drive it straight.
We had a 3-iron for a reason, Michael. We did. No, I'm kidding. But so kind of going into that mindset, like you're playing a new course. You may have heard of it, but like you get to the course, like what is your mindset trying to get into the tournament? Do you walk it before? Do you just do research on your own? Do you look at yardage books? What do you do in that situation?
Well, usually I play a practice round like the day before. So I've played a couple courses where I've just gone into it with no knowledge. I mean, I'll look at it online, like if they have it on Golf Genius or whatever it is, I'll look at it online. But Kevin said something to me, that the Korn Ferry guy, that was like kind of brutal, but at the same time, like I was kind of whining. I was like, yeah, I have to go to this course. I was talking with him. I was like, yeah, I have to go to this course. Like, I have no knowledge of it. I've never played it before, and I just have to go straight in. He was like, you think I just go to a new course and expect to just, oh, I haven't played it before, so I'm going to shoot over par? No, go out there and play it like you've played it 100 times. Like, you can always shoot at a bar. And I was like, it's not a bad mindset.
I want to hear more about this caddying, because there's been some days where, you're hopping on Google and you're like, how do you become a caddy? I mean, I know how you become a caddy, but just being inside the ropes with the bag on the shoulder, like that's got to be so satisfying too.
It's super awesome, but at the same time, take everything you know about golf. Well, at least for me, take everything you know about golf and throw it out the window. This is it's like an entire different level of golf. Those guys are playing. I mean, Korn Ferry, your PGA Tour is a little different because they're already on tour and they've already made it. But like Korn Ferry Tour, you're kind of playing to move
Grind.
up.
Grind.
So it's a little bit of some stress situations. And if you're not doing your job correctly, you're gonna, at least in Kevin, he's gonna tell me, like, if I'm not on my grind.
Don't worry, you can swear.
Okay, good. If I'm not on my shit, he's gonna let me know. Like, that's how it is.
That's crazy, man. So I know we talked about a little earlier. We are bouncing all over the place like we always do on our podcast, so don't worry. But you originally are able to meet him because he was the first alternate in that first tournament. And you guys just kept in touch, and then I kind of know the story a little bit. I know that like his caddy got into quarantine and got COVID, but like kind of explain like how it went from just keeping in touch to getting that call and being like, okay, yeah, absolutely, I'll be on a plane tomorrow.
Yeah, we just like, well, first I caddied for him. He came back to the club car in Savannah. And was like, hey, I'm actually in this year, like, do you want to caddy? And I was like, heck yeah. And so I caddied for him, he made the cut. I was like, I'm 1 for 1 on cuts, let's go. And so we went on to next week, or I didn't go with him next week, but then kind of just I kept talking with him, like sending him swing videos. He was helping me tons with my golf game, and he's the reason I know how to flight the ball. Like, he's the reason I know how to hit every shot I need to be able to hit. And he just, like, all of a sudden he had just randomly texted me. He was like, hey man, do you want to come to Illinois and caddy for me? And I was like, sure, I guess. When is it? And he told me, and I was like, oh man, I have a tournament in Orlando. He's like, I don't care, like, it'll be fine. So I played in my tournament in Orlando, went from the tournament in Orlando to Orlando Airport and flew out. And I stayed with him that week. We played at Panther Creek. Awesome course. Didn't make the cut. So I was going to go home. And then he was like, I got to go to Springfield. Like, we went from Springfield, Illinois to Springfield, Missouri was his next week. And I was like, well, maybe we could just go to St. Louis is right through there, right? And he was like, yeah. And so I was like, maybe I should just fly out of there, because Springfield, Illinois, nobody's ever heard of. Like, it's so tiny that the airport was 2 planes and that was it. Like, so we drove to St. Louis, and through the connections that I lived there for 7-8 years, so we knew some people, just went out and played Belle Reve that weekend. And yeah, it was bizarre. And then I flew home from St. Louis. Like, it was incredible.
Wow.
Booyah.
Unbelievable. That's Jesus. Belle Reve.
It's Kevin you caddy for, right?
Yep, Kevin Lucas.
What is he on top of you the most about?
I think he's really on top of me about being assertive, knowing what you want and getting it, and not being afraid to move in someone's way, or, well, not in the specific golf sense, but like not being afraid to like push for what you want. He's really big on that, and he's really big on he's also just super big on I guess making connections and understanding that in order to make your way through life, there's going to be people that you want in your circle. And he's really big with me that like he doesn't care who they are. he goes and talks to them because he doesn't know what he didn't have to talk to me. He could have just been like, I don't want this 17-year-old caddy, but it's all about taking that opportunity, I think, in general, in order to further everybody else around you and further yourself.
I mean, you must have made him comfortable. I mean, he wouldn't have asked you to come all that way, and if for nothing. I mean, you must have just put him in that zone where he was comfortable playing golf, and that's got to be half of it when you're picking your caddy. So that's pretty cool. That's pretty cool to be someone who can calm someone down, or just have a presence of comfortability or something like that. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it was. We did an interview with Korn Ferry the first year. Because I think we were like 2 inside the cut line or something. Then he made a bogey on 7. So we played the back first. So we made a bogey on 7, and so we were like 1 off the cut line. And so I was like, all right, like, just calm it down. Like, we have a 5-iron in our hands, and I was like, just hit a nice easy shot here, like. And he was like, yeah, you're telling me to calm down when I have to hit a 200-yard shot. Like, all right. It's the hardest par 3 on the course, like, honestly. And he puts one to, like, I don't know, 8 feet, makes the birdie. We go on the next hole, which is honestly the second hardest hole on the course. 8 and 9 are brutal, and it's like driver winds hard into us, and I'm like, all right, 4-iron right at the middle of the green, we'll be chilling. And he's like, yeah, 4-iron, super easy shot. Hit this like knockdown 4-iron on the green, almost like barely lips the birdie putt, and we make par and move on. I was like, all right, I'm telling him to calm down when he has like the hardest club he can hit in his hands, but hey, he's doing the job.
Then he's getting something back out at you, and then he goes and stripes it. It sounds.
Yeah, it's funny because my mom always, she's like, man, you guys are like brothers. Like we're just bouncing off each other and having fun. And I think that's the best connection you can have in terms of caddy and player.
Absolutely. I mean, we see it with Jordan and Michael Greller every week. That's I think probably the most well known, but I see it with you saw last week with Xander Schauffele, like his caddy went to quarantine and he asked his best friend from college, his best friend and golf teammate from college to come and caddy for him. So it's definitely I caddied for Mike, and we didn't make it, so we didn't do a good job, but we didn't make it that year.
then because like I'm not on that. I wasn't like feeding. I mean, I knew when we were at Deer Creek in the landings, I knew that course like the back of my hand. So I was giving him some reads and stuff. Mm-hmm. But all of the stuff that they do with their book, I was like, let him do that, because I was like, oh my God, this is actually like really complicated.
That was going to be my next question to you, because obviously, so you have a yardage book, and like I barely even know how to read that freaking thing. So like I can imagine but I know like there's the you have the yardages in there, then you have your planning it, you have your areas where you want to hit it, everything like that. My thing is, once you get to the greens, they're looking at their yardage book, which I thought was just a yardage book, but then there's stuff about the green on it, and I'm sitting there, I'm just like, what is going on here? So like, I don't know if you I know you kind of said it, but like, did you kind of feel the same way when you were just walking with them and being like, I don't really know what's going on?
Because they don't use rangefinders. I've used rangefinders all my life, so when they're walking stuff off, I'm like, he was honestly, at some points, he was like caddying me. Like we're on 18, he's like caddying me. There's this picture of him looking at my yardage book. So I'm like, so is it 136? He's like, no, Landon, it's 127. Like, -5. Like he was just helping me out with it. And I was like, but like for greens books, dude, I like feel like I'm not a Bryson where I'm statistical, and mm-hmm. I like feel. I'm looking at it and I'm like, okay, it's going left to right. I'm going to play it a cup outside and pick a spot halfway and be like, okay, I want it to run just outside of the spot. If I know that, I hit a good putt. I can't read any of that greens book crap, honestly.
I mean, I feel like that's why they've made half of them, illegal. And like, I know the Masters, you can't use it. I think the PGA, I don't even know on the PGA if you can use them anymore either.
It's math math could be involved in the yardages, but I don't think it should be involved in greens, because it's giving an unnecessary edge. And I just think, guys, if you can't read a green yourself and know what it's going to do, then you shouldn't, like, you got to work on that.
I'll always remember Bryson Bryson bringing out the protractor in that one tournament. I was like, this has gone too far. This is now, like, he had it in his yardage book, and he brings out a protractor, and I'm like, I can't with this. I cannot. This is too far. I totally get where he's coming from on a lot of other stuff. Like, golf is absolutely an analytical game. You need some of that. I mean, it's not like, it's not baseball level where I mean, Tim could go on forever about, sometimes how data analytics is great, but it's also ruining the sport. But, with golf, you definitely need that analytical side. But at the same time, it's like, okay, it's 120 yards. Let's hit it.
I'm going to hit a low flighted cut that's going to land 118. Like, no, dude, I think that's something I've honestly been working on. My game is working. I've been working with Mike Burson. I've been working with him, and he's like, why are you trying to hit a low cut? If you want to hit a cut, but it doesn't have to be a low cut that, like, cuts exactly this much. Like, stop over analyzing everything and trying to overshoot a shot, like, overthink it. And I was like, wow, he's not wrong. So I think that's been something I've been working on, just like simplifying the golf game a little bit.
Absolutely.
Speaking of analytics, I just want to segue into that and get into your game a little bit. And so, speaking of statistics, I'm looking at all your par fives, and boy, I mean, you are a par five assassin. And my question that's going to come off of that is that part of, like, your mindset when you're going into a tournament? What's your mindset? Do you have a game plan? Do you know what you want to do?
I quote a lot of stuff that Kevin says, but no expectations, only goals is the only thing I really think of when I go into tournaments. So I'm like, okay, it's not a specific goal. Like, it's not like I want to shoot 68 today. It's okay, I really want to be attacking the par fives, say, or I really want to be staying cautious on these, playing it carefully on these certain holes. Like, it's just, I think if you go into a round with expectations, I did it when I played at Mount Vintage in that AJGA. I went in with expectations. And because I shot 70 the first day, I was like, okay, I should be able to do this the second day. And I went and shot 79. Like, if you go in with expectations that are too great, you're going to fail yourself. And I think that's a huge reason that I just kind of set a goal. If it doesn't happen, it doesn't happen. If it does, awesome.
I like that. That's cool. Realistic goal, but not expectation. That's cool.
Yeah.
It simplifies it a little bit for me, rather than shooting for the stars, little baby steps at a time. That's kind of cool.
Yeah, exactly. It's just something you gotta do to keep that mindset going. Because, like, oh my God, like that entire round at Mount Vintage, I was thinking, like, oh my God, like, I was 4 under at this point yesterday. Like, what am I doing?
This whirlwind, this cornucopia.
Oh no.
Long Leaf Golf Club. Where's
Pinehurst,
that?
North Carolina.
Oh, it's in Pinehurst.
Yeah.
All right.
It's
cool.
Man, those greens were ridiculously fast, and that was just such a fun tournament. That was such a fun event. It played so hard. Like if you looked at the pin sheet, I'm sure I have it around here somewhere still, but if you looked at the pin sheet, it was like 5 from the back, or like 5 from the back, 5 from the right, like 4 from the left, 4 on. Like there were some ridiculous pins that like if you went over or just short, you're screwed. Like you were just in the worst positions. You had to play such methodical golf that it was eye-opening for sure.
Wow. Longleaf. Okay.
Yeah, that was a fun one. I really loved playing. I mean, Lagoon course at the Inn at Ponte Vedra. It's so short, so it's just so easy. I played in the Tournament of Champions out there. I shot 66, and I was like, okay, well, that. It's got to be a favorite. Like it was so much fun.
Timmy, write that one down. Lagoon, short, beautiful.
So we got a golf trip coming up, and it's down in Orlando.
Oh yeah.
Talk to me about where to play.
If anybody from Orange Tree Club is watching this, sorry, but don't play there.
Orange Tree. Okay.
Never play there ever. That course is the dumbest course I've ever played in my life. It's so like 4 feet of rough, out of bounds every hole. And there's some holes that you have to hit like there was this one hole, water left, all left down the like just fairway, and then water. There's nothing there. And then a tree here. So it wasn't like you could hit a little like baby draw down the right side and be fine. You had to hit this cut. If it didn't cut, you're in the water. If it cuts too much, you're out of bounds.
And no thanks. Orange Club, right?
Orange Tree
Golf
Club. Yeah,
but,
Orange. There's Orange Lake Golf Club. That's not it, right?
What?
Orange Lake Golf Club. That's not it.
Orange Tree.
Orange Tree. Okay. Orange Tree.
I'm staying away from all orange.
Orange.
I'm trying to. Well, no, actually, Orange County National is a fun course. It's weird, but it's pretty fun. I played Panther Lake there. Crooked Cat is more fun, but I played Panther Lake in the tournament. Trying to think. I think my favorite Disney course is probably Palms. Palms is super fun. I don't really know where else I've played down there besides. I've played a couple more, but I can't remember.
I got Shingles. I'm gonna read off a list. I got Shingle, Hawks Landing, Disney Lake, Buena Vista. I think you played a tournament there.
Lake Buena Vista, yeah, I played there a couple times.
Okay, and then there's like the Champions Gate, Southern Dune, Waldorf Astoria.
Oh, I forgot about Champions Gate. Yeah.
Those couple of those, but just
Champions Gate
a little bit, but
yeah, I played I think I won at Lake Buena Vista. That was one of the ones I won last year.
Oh, you played well there. I got the stats.
Yeah, that course is fun, but dude, if you get out of position on a tee shot, oh my God, you're dead.
That's cool.
If you haven't been able to tell, Tim is our stats guy. And everything and anything. Tim is stats. Tim,
you always need one of those.
He shot a +1 the entire tournament. +1.
We need to get him what's it called? One of those the old fedora hats, and he needs to wear a shirt and he just needs to be a 1940s baseball writer. Like we'll do that from now on.
Stat guy.
Stat guy, go. No, I'm kidding. Oh man. No, but sorry about that, Tim. I didn't hear you on there.
Nothing. I was
okay. No, but I know I mean I'm sure, kind of keeping going in a little bit of a different direction. We talked about with Kevin and kind of, with the grind that is the Korn Ferry Tour, and you're basically playing that week in order to make enough money to get a hotel room and get a flight for the next week. Like, and then you see out here, like, I want to talk about this so bad, like with the Saudi Golf League stuff, and it's like they offered Bryson $150 million just to play in 14 events every year. And you got guys like one of my favorites on tour, Charlie Hoffman, has now pulled a big old 180 after last week and started complaining about how the PGA Tour doesn't, take care of its players. And, he's thinking about jumping ship. And there's Kramer Hickok said there's like 17 guys that have basically already signed their names on that. Like, what do you think is something where, obviously we're big PGA Tour guys, but what do you think is something that the PGA and the Korn Ferry Tour can do to like help these golfers where, even if you're on the PGA Tour, yeah, you made it, but at the same time, like you miss the cut, like you don't got any money for, you don't get any money for that week. And then even if it's a little bit different when you're making 10 grand versus, on the Korn Ferry Tour, if you place fifth, you might make 10 grand. It's a little different.
I mean, now they're making, I think by 2023, they're making it so Korn Ferry, there'll be no purse under $1 million, which is a good step, because like the one in Savannah, like the purse is only 300 grand, like.
And it's a sponsorship by club. Like, we're not making fun of Club Carp. Absolutely not. Like, their headquarters are like 20 minutes away from my house. But like, they're pulling in multi-million dollars a year, and it's only a $300,000. Like, how is that even possible?
Wait, I think it's actually, it might be 600. I don't remember, but it's not.
It's not egregiously under.
Yeah, it's not near. I think that, and I think that the PGA and the Korn Ferry have to realize that without the players, there's no tour. There's nobody watching. There's nobody bringing in earnings. There's none of that. And there used to you could turn on the TV on a Sunday and you can see all of the greats in line on the leaderboard. And now with everybody playing, all of the people are jumping ship to the European Tour, are going to play in Saudi Arabia. Like, look, why is this happening? Like, what is making them so miserable that they're just, they want to go over there? I think PGA Tour has to figure out a way that brings their players back and makes it a little bit. I think it's getting there with the waste management. I think it was more fun to watch with the waste management. But you got to bring that engagement back up of like, it's not just stuffy. I got to beat everybody, like that kind of tour. Like, it's got to be, it's every sport has fun to it. And you guys got to, like, they got to remember that it's still a game.
Completely agree. And I do think that there is a big, and I've been kind of, when I used to write the blog, like, I think I wrote this in like 2018 about it. Like, there's no reason why the PGA Tour, like, even if you get cut, there's no reason that those guys, you can't just be like, okay, you each get $1,000, or you know what I mean? Like, they, like, at least give it that. Like, I know they're making, even the lowest of the low guys, they're getting their clubs for free from Titleist or wherever, and they have sponsorships. They're probably pulling in $100K off just those sponsorships, so they can pay their caddies and they can pay all this stuff, and then all the tournament proceeds are just profit. But at the same time, it's like there are guys out there, like, you can't give them $1,000 for the tournament that they're staying at. Probably down here they're staying at really, really nice places, because that's all there is to stay on Hill. It's either that or the Red Roof Inn, which what I mean, and half the guys stay at those places.
Yeah, because I mean, you gotta, it's such a weird sport, because if you look at it and you see like, oh, the tournament winner on the PGA Tour just won 1.2 million, and then you realize how much of that actually goes to taxes, and then you realize how much of a contract like NBA players or NFL players are making. You're like, what is going on? Like, these guys are making like $500,000. I mean, I get it's per event, but when there's $100 million contracts in other sports, like, how do you not have enough sponsors and enough pull in the entirety of the golf community to not up those prices a little bit?
And I think it's getting there. And like what you said, especially, I think the PGA did a great thing investing in the Korn Ferry Tour, because, like, I mean, there were stories coming out. I followed Monday Q Info. I'm sure a bunch of other people. I'm sure Kevin Lucas probably told you horror stories about sometimes if when they're just like okay, like, I got to get to the tournament. Like, I guess I'm stopping at McDonald's on the way because that's the only thing that I can afford right now.
Yep. I mean, and forcing there. I mean, they were doing a bunch of stuff. Like, I mean, forcing players to get vaccinated in order to be able to make their tournaments, and forcing testing, and forcing certain times of like where to be when. Like, it's just bizarre. I'm like, you guys realize that I get that they're under contract, but at the same time, they're basically independent contractors going to play on
They
a
are.
tour. And
They-
it's just like, why can they not do their own thing and you guys pay them to put on a show? It's basically what it is.
Mhm.
I mean, to be fair, I'm not like some random PGA Tour, Korn Ferry Tour exec guru. Like I have, don't take my opinion too seriously, but
we don't have the financials in front of us, but I'm just saying, like there's something that I just think like, and that's my biggest thing about it. And while I understand it, I don't like what they're doing with the Saudi Golf League. I think personally, it's whatever. Like I would much rather, you know, them not inviting Rory though is hilarious because they like put out invitations to like everyone in the top 20 except Rory, which is because of what Rory said in the past. Like it's unbelievable the pettiness on that, which is great. But I do think that they're making some steps. But again, when they have, when they're pulling in, God, obscene amounts of money, and then they show like, here's the amount that they made. They made like 8, and don't quote me on these prices, like what Landon just said. They pull in like $800 million in revenue total for the PGA Tour, and 400, I think it was $350 million in purse money or something like that. And it's like, okay, like I understand that there's definitely going to be costs and there's definitely going to be everything else like there. And, the profit margins, we may not think of it as that much, but like that's it. That's all the money that's going to the players. Like you can't squeeze an extra. And it's literally like, if you do it out, 156 players probably for a tournament and, top 70. So you can't do $75,000-$80,000 like in a separate pot for the guys that don't make the cut, so they can at least have a little bit of extra money and be able to pay their caddies and all that stuff.
Like that week, like yeah, like
brutal.
It's
hey, maybe the Saudi thing will be good. More money into golf, people pulling like elsewhere into the world, which will give more people in US a chance to, like, they got to fill those spots, and maybe it'll force the PGA to look inward a little bit. I don't know.
I think they'll do, to be honest, I think they'll do what they did in with that Saudi or whatever it was, European Super League for soccer, where teams said they were like getting into it and then they realized they'd get banned, and then they were like, all right, we're out. Like I feel like it's just gonna fold, like the same thing that happened with that league. Like everybody wants to be where, nobody wants to just, it's kind of just like randomly jumping. I get the money's there, but I think it's kind of just randomly jumping into a random business venture. Like, oh, sure, I'll go fly over and go play in this tournament. Oh, wait, I can't, if I want to go back to the US and play in my home, like I can't do that. You're kind of screwed either way.
It comes down to the dollar or the love of the game, like, and to Lee Westwood, it's probably going to be the dollar at this point.
For Bryson, it's going to be the dollar. For Lee Westwood, it's going to be the dollar. For Phil, it's going to be, unfortunately for Phil, it's going to be like there's a bunch of, and with their back and forth stuff going on, but like, and I know we're going off on this, but I wanted to talk about it this week too. So I'm really happy that we are. The one thing I think the PGA Tour and the European Tour have going for it, which is great, is that it is a true meritocracy where if you get in, you can Monday qualify, you can get in, you can make the cut, and you can win the tournament. We saw that's how Corey Connors did it down at TPC San Antonio. We've seen it happen before. It's not often, but like the PGA Tour is a true meritocracy. Whereas if you just close off this to the same 40 guys every week, no cuts, which I actually, going back to the other thing, like no cuts, there's good and there's bad, but just having the same 40 guys every week, like I don't want to see Bryson win 8 times against just, Lee, Ian Poulter, Phil, if guys like Colin and Dustin and all those guys go, like I want to see like what happened last year with Kramer Hickok going into 6 playoff holes And even though he just came up short, like, he hadn't done anything for the entire, for most of the year, and then all of a sudden out of nowhere, he just has a hot week and wins second place and gets invited to 8 more tournaments that year. So
it's fun to see that jump of like random new guy. Like, I mean, Will Zalatoris, right? You just look at him and he just kind of randomly burst onto the tour and he's killing it. Like I love seeing that, and I love seeing a lot of the Korn Ferry guys that have come up this year are playing great.
To hit the gala this week, which I'm not gonna brag, but the last 2 big Korn Ferry Tour guys that have come up and done big, Will Zalatoris called it. Tim and Mike can know, called that one. To hit the gala, I've had in my daily fantasy the past couple of weeks, so like I've been big on him.
So and
you guys have guys like Davis Riley who are coming up, who are shooting 10 under on the first day, and then shooting like 4 over the next day, but still making the cut. And you have all of these really, really good golfers coming up from the Korn Ferry Tour this year, and you'll lose that if you just have these random guys coming in. Not random guys, but if it's the same 40 guys every week, you can't go into the tournament. If you win, I know for Korn Ferry guys, if they win a tournament, they usually get that status for the rest of the year, and then they get like invites into select, usually PGA Tour events too. So you can hit on that, and you could hit the lottery and just have a great week. And I just don't like that they're closing it off like that and just doing like, I don't want to see just the top 40 guys. I want to see a guy come out of nowhere as well and win.
Yeah, it's fun to watch. It's always a good comeback story to watch. It's weird how it's weird how you have to kind of start off in the red in some of those. Like, in order to get on the Korn Ferry, you have to go through Q school, or you have to Monday qualify into a certain amount of and win an event to get status. Like, the way the status works on some of the tours is just like baffling to me. I'm like, oh wow.
Yeah, we talked about it last year when Will Zalatoris finished second in the Masters and didn't have status on the PGA Tour.
Yeah, you're like,
I was like, he did top 5 at the US. He was top 5 at the US Open, I think, too, right? Or something. Maybe he was top 10 at the US Open. Yeah, and he finished second at the Masters. And they were like, oh, by the way, you don't have status, so you can't play for $15 million in the FedEx Cup. What?
Yeah, it's like you got to win one event to get status, and or move up from the Korn Ferry. And I'm like, you just expect people to Monday qualify into random events and win? I mean, I'm doing some Monday qualifying this year, but
and the Monday qualifiers, it's usually, I would say probably for the Korn Ferry it's even more, but for the PGA Tour it's usually like 30 guys for 1 or 2 spots.
Yeah,
at least
it's two. Usually it's, I can't remember last year when I did it, or the year, whatever year I did it. It was like 80 guys for 3 spots and an alternate spot. And I was like, and by the way, the people that got in, 65. 66 didn't even get you in. I was like,
yeah. Bruh. I think I saw one time it was like MJ, because I know when I followed this guy MJ Duffin, he's from South Africa. He did like a bunch of Monday qualifiers last year, and I think he Monday qualified 4 or 5 times. And it's like one time he shot a 62. I'm like, dude, you would be leading the tournament if you shot that. Like, you would probably be at least final round Saturday, unless you totally fell apart. Like, a 62 on your first day, and it's not a waste, obviously, because no round of golf is ever a waste. But imagine that you shoot a 62, you're like, sweet, I play this, in 3 days, and then you go out and you shoot like an 80, and you're like, what? Yeah. How did that go?
Golf is crazy, dude. Golf is that's what I don't get is the same thing. I mean, I did the same thing in I kind of folded like an omelet when I played in that Monday qualifier. I was like 2 under through 9 or something like that, and I ended up shooting like 78 or 79 or something. Like, I just folded.
Yeah,
it happens.
It does.
And the worst part is you have to pay for the Monday qual. Like, they don't tell you that. You have to pay. PGA
Yeah.
Tour players, or not PGA Tour players, but guys who are professional golfers have to pay to play Monday qualifiers.
And if you're an amateur, it is not cheap. It is like
Yeah,
$500.
isn't it double?
It's $500. If you're a PGA pro, you can pay and get it, which is baffling to me why a PGA Tour pro would play in a Korn Ferry Monday. But if you're a PGA pro, you can play for 100. If you're Korn Ferry pro, you can play for 200. If you're a Latin American member, you can play for, like, it just goes on. Like the less status you have, the more it is. I'm like, how is that fair?
Wow.
That's unbelievable.
I did not know that. That's
The
wild.
money
Yeah, I
doesn't
read
even
it was
go.
$500.
It doesn't even go to the guy who wins the Monday qualifier, or like it doesn't even go to those
anything. You
guys.
get a chance to win some money, and if you're an
Yeah.
amateur, you don't get anything.
You just spent $500. Now you got to go buy a caddy if you make it too.
Dude, I could Monday qualify into this event. I'm Monday qualifying for the club car. I could Monday qualify in, make the cut, win the freaking event, and I would get $0 because I'm an amateur.
Right.
Right.
That's
And
right.
they don't
Which
like
is
put that
crazy to
money.
me.
They don't.
That's-
They also don't put like one thing I think they could do, which would be helpful. Is like if you do that, like put that money into like an escrow account or something, and be like, okay, he turned pro, like we can pay it now, like you know what I mean. But
Yeah, but it just goes to the other player, which I'm like, all right, whatever. And at the same time, I'm going to have fun. I'm not going in with any expectations. I'm going to see if I can get a taste of professional golf, whatever, have fun. But it's, to me, it's like, man, I could win this event and I still would come out
and I'd be in the red.
$600. Like, it's baffling to me.
But I like that you know that that's not what it's all about, at least at this point in your life, which is cool.
I realized with my injury and the way that I was playing before I got committed, I was playing like this, like the white knuckling everything, like, oh my God, if I don't shoot 65, I'm going to shoot myself. Like, it's a game. The reason every single person that plays golf started playing the game is because, oh man, this is super fun. Like, oh man, I really love this. You just gotta bring that back and be like, oh my God, I started this out as a game. Like this is the reason I started, is because it was fun. You got to make sure it stays fun, or else you will not last in this game.
You don't
More
strike me as
shirtless
one.
Harry Higgs. That's all we need in our lives. More
Right.
shirtless Harry Higgs at PGA Tour events. That's all we need. Then
You don't
Joel
strike me
Damon
as
in the
someone who is
background
a white
doing North
knuckler.
Carolina. It's even better.
Like you're
Dude,
your
I got
personality.
Well, I mean, now, but you should have seen me when I was playing in some of those HAGA events, man.
That's
Dude,
what I'm saying.
Like, I'm committed. I can relax and just focus on my game, and I'm really happy with that because it's helping my game. And I might be struggling now, but at the same time, I know that it's coming because I've been working on my swing so much, trying to reduce any possible possibility of injuring my back again. So struggling right now, but I know it's going to come in the spring, summer when I start playing these events. But for me, it's just, I can breathe. Like this is a game. It's fun. I don't have to go out there every single, and what I didn't realize at the same time when I was white knuckling everything, what I didn't realize is, like, I didn't have to do that. Coaches want to see personality and they want to see the love of the game. Nobody wants to see some random kid out on the course slamming his club.
Right.
Like, it gets serious, and you can be serious and still have fun. And that's just something that I've been trying to work on very hard with Kevin's help, with Coach Mike's help, like working on my own brain. Golf is a mental game, and I think the second you take the fun out of it is the second stuff goes south.
Because when golf is fun, golf is fun.
You're telling me. We all got the golfing bug. Every single one of it. Once people say, "Oh man, this is kind of fun," they just get addicted, and then it's just down the rabbit hole from there.
You can have the worst round, and this has happened to me, man. I was playing 18 at Harvard Town, hit a perfect drive, took out my, I don't hit my irons very far, so it was like probably a 4-iron from like 205 or something like that, and I take it out. Yeah, but like I mean, I hit it right into the water, so obviously it didn't go that far. you know, absolutely top the ever living daylights out of it, goes right in, and I'm like, oh, you know, so I go up, drop, you know, hit out, fine. When I have like a nice little chip and I put it within like 2 feet of the hole, and I'm like, that's what makes it come back. That's what, you know, that is what makes it come back, is when you hit that one shot, you're just like, yep, like that felt great. When you get really get a hold of that one drive, like you feel it and you're just like, oh, this is great.
I went out, I was playing in the landings. One of my friends, he always wants me to shout him out. So shout out Charlie.
Shout out Charlie. Hey, Charlie.
He loves, he's like, every time I do like an interview or something, or like if I'm just talking with somebody, he'll be like, did you talk about me? Like he was messing with me about Coach. When I was talking to Coach Don, the Elon coach, he was like, did you talk about me? Was it he's jokingly, of course, but so got to give Charlie his moment in the spotlight. I was playing with Charlie.
Love it. Thanks for listening, Charlie.
Charlie.
Yeah, I'll make sure he
bud.
listens now. We went out and played, and I played so around, like just I was like that mad person. I was just like, God, slamming, like throwing my clubs into my bag. I was like, I hate this game. And then we were in the pro shop like 3 hours later, scheduling our tee time for the next day, and that's how it goes. You know, every day is a new day, and you never know what you're. I've shot. I went and played Magnolia. It's this course out there. It's newly renovated. I went out and played out there the first day, and I shot like 80 or something, or whatever course it was. I went out there and shot 80, and I was like, oh, dude, like, what am I doing wrong? And then the next day I went out there and shot 60.
Wow.
That's, I mean, I'm just like, I'd be ecstatic.
Yeah, it's such a weird game.
It really is.
That's cool though.
That's awesome, man.
I always say too, I tell people there, like, to get them into golf, like, you're never going to be worse than day one, you know, and I know COVID's been brutal, like in all of life for the past too long, but if anything, like my friends getting out on the golf course more often, it's been awesome in that sense. But
we got one of our buddies from home, and we were at Mike's bachelor party, and he never picks up clubs, and Sam was just god awful. Shout out Sam Dodge, we love you, man, but you're one of the worst golfers.
But he had fun, man. We played a little
like,
scramble format, and you're on your way.
After that, he was like, dude, I want to go to he was like, yeah, I got to start going to the range. Like, this was kind of cool. Like, he had one shot where he clobbered it, and he was like, I feel good now. And I'm like, let's go.
COVID was a disaster for, well,
a multitude of reasons. You could say
that's a whole different story in terms of schooling and what the hell happened there. But COVID was crazy, and COVID was a blessing at the same time, because the golf courses still stayed open. So me and Charlie would go out, like me, Charlie, and his sister Mary would go out. We'd have like our 5-hour Zoom classes, get off, and then go play 18 holes after. And I was like, I can get used to this. Like,
all right,
that's the life. That's the absolute life.
Dude, I needed it. Like, I don't. For some students, like if you guys played football or something, like, I don't know how just regular students survive that. Like, without golf, locked in your room that was just like psychological torture. You're putting the generation that is already on their phones enough into a locked room. When we go to college, like, my generation isn't going to know how to interact with people. Like,
it's incredible, man. It's incredible. I coach high school basketball, and like these poor kids, like the past 3 years, with playing in masks, not playing, shit gets canceled, like not even having a season. Like, and I just think back like to playing, and it's like, if this was me at this time, I'd feel so bad for myself. But like, it's the only expression, like, but at the same time, you were saying how golf courses stayed open for you, Landon. They didn't for us. They shut down. And actually, Timmy, Brian, and I, we're all cousins. Brendan's Brendan's our family too.
Family
But
friend that became part of the family, basically.
Yeah. We were playing Stony Lee, the local municipal here, and the owner lives like next door, and she was running through just like on a jog, and she's like, you guys can't be here. Like if you get caught here, like our licenses, they're all like going to shit. So we felt bad, but we needed some sort of sanity, you know, like, and it just felt like we could get out there on a nice day and got booted.
That was the only thing that kept me sane, is being able, I mean, we were a private club, so they could but the team will go off, but of course in my games to help me out, and just something that anything like I'm such a, I have a little bit in me, so and when I can do something all day, I'm bouncing off the wall.
Keep up that Brendan, what are you doing over there?
Dude, okay, so there's gonna be some technical difficulties here because just so you know, I am not gonna be good at editing, so we're gonna be going through the entire time. My internet.
Did we miss anything? Did we miss anything? That's all I give a shit about.
Yeah, my internet got disconnected, so there's gonna be like a minute that we don't hear. So I apologize, guys.
It's all good.
Whew,
we just missed me talking about my feelings. We're all right.
I know, right? Seriously, you were getting into the good stuff too. But we're back recording. Thank you, everyone, for back joining us. This is what happens when you have multiple internet connections in a house and you forget to switch from one to the other one. Ugh, it's the worst. But yeah, so that is why I was probably like that and why I was probably frozen for a minute.
Well, the more you know.
Exactly. Oh man. But
any hole in ones. I ask any hole in one.
Tim's got 2
I got one this year.
You got one this year?
You got one?
Yeah, I did. Not this year, but I've got one. I got one recently wait. Give me a second.
No problem. This is our first one. This is our first one, right?
Wow, no!
No way.
Wow.
What hole? Hole number 5. Oh my god.
PPC Sawgrass, hole number 5.
That's
Wow.
awesome.
When are you getting the nice little frame for that bad boy?
Yeah, you're telling me I need to get a frame, but I already have. You get your name on the wall in the Sawgrass Clubhouse, so I have my name on the wall of the Sawgrass.
That's dope. That is dope.
No way.
That is way cooler than any plaque I could have, honestly.
Dude, that's
sick.
so awesome. If anybody listens to last week's segment with Chunky Golf,
Tim brought up a whole.
Tim asked the same question. Tim said he asked that question to everybody. We thought Chunky was gonna pass away. He said he'd come close like a billion times, like literally, like. And when he said, like, and he was genuine, like this ball hanging out. He said one ball bounced in, out. Like we felt so bad to ask the question and to have this answer today. We're just couldn't be more elated.
We got him in his feelings. We did. We did. I'm surprised he didn't hang up on us right there for Tim.
But Sawgrass too. You could. That's legit. I mean,
That's hanging it up right there. I thought you were going to get the scorecard for a second. I was
me too. That's going to get worthy. I thought he was going to get the scorecard too.
I was like,
my friends would all give me crap because my friend Charlie's had 2. My friend Mary's had 2.
Shout out Charlie.
My friend Charlie had one in a tournament. I'm watching his scores go up and I see birdie, hole in one, birdie. And I'm like, bro's 4 under through 3. Like, what is happening? So never heard the end of it. And then I finally got one. Now I can just be like, I got one at Sawgrass. I don't care.
I can see why Charlie wants you to mention his name and everything.
Yeah, seriously. Now we know why.
Birdie, hole in one, birdie.
Oh.
Still only shot one under though, so I don't want to boost his ego too much.
Dude, I think I would if that happened to me, I think I'd walk off the course. I think I'd be like, I'm not even finishing.
Yeah,
like it's not getting any better than this. Like, oh.
And he watched me do one where we were playing. It was this par 3. I hit a wedge. They had those. So you know how they had like do they have like noodles in the holes for COVID?
They used
did,
to.
yep.
They sucked.
For us, they had like these plastic trays.
The thing you bring up.
No, not like that.
Oh.
Like an actual like plastic tray that hung like this far below the lip. Like it was the dumbest thing ever. Like you could just hit a putt a little too firm. It would have been in if it was a regular hole. Bam, bounce out. We always took the pin out. I didn't care. Screw COVID. Anyways, I hit a wedge, straight dunked it, broke the tray, like the COVID
Take
tray,
that.
bounced back up into the bunker.
Oh my gosh.
He was like, nope,
I'm
doesn't count.
I think I'm counting it. I think if that happened to me, I'm counting it. I'm like, we're out. We're out.
We played with one of the kids that when they still had noodles, we played with this. It was my high school coach's, one of his friend's sons. I don't remember. But it was this hard hole on Deer Creek because of course they have the club car on. It's this hole 17. It's like a 5-iron, 6-iron, depending. Maybe a 4-iron. He hit like a 5-iron right at the pin. And it bounced, started rolling, bounced, hit the noodle, popped out. I was like, dude, I feel so bad. Like that, I feel like that would have been in if it was.
Those noodles, I don't get me started. I'm so glad those are out of the fucking hole. I mean, that was ridiculous.
Another reason my sanity was questioned.
Oh,
say it again.
Go for it, Mike. Go for it. Sorry.
No, just some of the courses they didn't even cut the noodle. Like they just pretty much forced a freaking pool-sized noodle into the hole. Like you could still make it. And it's like, dude, that burned the edge, but like it just brutal. Just don't.
At least we didn't have the public course things where they were literally just like lifting the cups out of the holes like this and like leaving it like this on the ground. Like
saw that.
Just whack one. Yeah, that dude didn't. Sure, you shot 58. All right, bud.
Right.
I can whack it at the pin too and count it. Like that doesn't mean anything.
I will say though, I'm not even gonna lie. I think now during like just with COVID stuff, I'm sure if I was a better golfer, I would always take the pin out. I think I've gone full Matthew Fitzpatrick and Bryce. I just keep the pin in now. Like I just keep it in.
Take it out.
I can't.
Yeah, that hurts my soul.
I putt better.
Take it out every time
with it in. I don't know why.
I can't stand them. Like if it's windy at all, especially, or the shadows of the flag, I can't stand that. Like just seeing it right on your line or just seeing the flag stick move when you look. I like things staying homeostasis where they're all like kind of the same. They don't change much.
Every time Adam Scott misses when he leaves that pin in, a little part of me inside just smiles. You know, I love it. I got
Adam Scott this week, Mike. Don't say that. Don't say stuff like that. I got money on him this week, Michael.
Come on, just the ball hitting the pin. You think that's a soothing sound when you make a putt? Like you gotta hear that friggin' cup.
It's horrible. Just like a little ding.
I don't believe the people too say it's statistically, and I don't believe that. I don't think can.
I'm just being lazy, to be honest with you.
No, but you're not. I didn't even hear you say it. I've heard a lot of people say, I don't know. I just think a lot. If you don't hit that pin center, a lot can go wrong. If you don't.
But if you hit it center, a lot can go right. That's the thing.
Yeah, but if you hit the right side of the middle of the pin, it could hit that thing out. Whereas if that pin's out, that ball's going in every time.
Yeah, I've had plenty of those situations where
because I'm a firm roller. I like to roll that ball firmly into the hole. If I'm like 4 feet, 6 feet, I don't like to leave any doubt. I'm looking at a 13-footer coming back.
Doubling that distance. I like that. You just whack it in the hole. You'd be really good on those COVID cups where they were lifted out.
Yeah, just whack it right. It counts.
It's firm, but it went in. They like ricochets like 8 feet back to the left. You're like, still went in.
Landon, I'm the kind of guy who would take out like my 52 or 60 and try and like chip. Like I got to get it in the hole. Like I'm trying to get it in. No, that wouldn't be me. But that
I've actually done that in tournaments. I've chipped somewhere I didn't want to putt it. It's really fun. Unless you take
it's really fun.
It's really scary. But
Yeah, I can imagine like so many things going through your head. Like I think a couple of years ago I was watching a tournament. I think it was Cameron Tringale, and he had like 120-foot putt, so he took it out his sand wedge or his lob wedge, and biggest divot in the world in the green. And Nick Faldo just goes, "I don't think the groundskeeper is going to be quite happy with him."
the groundskeeper would like to speak to you in his office. He's like,
you just won. You finished in third place. You won $800,000. You will be giving me 100 of those thousand.
Yeah, like I think it's as a player when you're thinking about it, like I've had to chip this one where there was this. It's a ridiculous hole. There's a bunker here, and I was like here on the front of the green, and there's that bunker on the right side, and then the pin was like back right. So like I'm like, obviously I'm not gonna I can't putt this. So you just, as my mindset, I'm like, I'd rather take a divot in the green than blade it. And usually when I say that, I just kind of clean it. If you know you want to clean it, it's kind of if you know you want to clean it, it's kind of easy to clean it. But I'd rather take a divot and just kind of touch it up with a pitch marker than blade it 40 yards over the green. Like, especially if you're trying to hit a flop, you got to hit this big swing and that ain't gonna work.
No, I totally agree with you. Tim, you got to ask the other question that you ask everyone too.
Yes, if you had a all right, so you imagine your backyard. When you're older, you buy a house.
Oh, we have 3 questions. I forgot the deserted island question too. You have to.
Oh, that one. You can have any hole in the world as your backyard. You could play it every single day, all day, however you want to do it. Any golf hole that you have played or have not played on any PGA Tour course, famous course, whatever, you can have that hole is your backyard. Which hole are you making? It comes with all the scenery too. So whatever you want to do.
Augusta number 16.
16. I like it.
Par 3.
Yep. We've got an Augusta, good amount.
Sunday pin location.
Sunday pin, of course you gotta have that moment. I think even every year that hole is so much fun to watch because it just slowly trickles down all the way to the pin. We love that, dude. It's so satisfying.
I love that. Good. What's the hole called? It's you know how they're like Golden Bell.
They all got flower names. They're all cute flower names.
Yeah,
that's weird. It's like the azalea.
Azalea's number 13.
Yeah.
Wait, maybe I'd have to take, what is that, 12? That other par 3?
Amen. Yeah, on Amen's corner with the bridge.
Yeah, that hole is kind of, that hole might be it.
That Sunday pin is even hard. I think that Sunday pin's even harder because everyone just rolls back into the water when they try.
Yeah, if you don't get it there, and if you're going over, there's no way you're stopping that ball on the green. That green is so tough. People think like, oh, why aren't you guys getting it there? Like, it's such a flat green. No, that green is like this. Like,
oh, it's crazy. Yeah, Mike, are you 18 pebble or are you 7 pebble? And Tim, you're 18 pebble. I forget which.
Like 6
pebble. Yeah, 6 pebble. Par 5 will left to right.
Oh, right.
Rides the coast there. Tim's 18 at Pebble.
Yeah, and I'm 18 at Harbor Town just because it's the PGA Tour's biggest fairway. So hopefully I don't miss it.
Love that. Hey, I mean, where did we play that I miss? Oh, Deer Creek has this one massive fairway. It's like, I don't even know how many. It's like at least 80 yards wide. Like it's massive. I miss it a good amount of the time, honestly. Like I pull it left a lot. I don't know why, but it's just the way it looks. It happens.
It's too open.
Yeah, I'll miss that fairway and then go on 5 and drive the green when it's like all over water 280. I'm like, okay, yeah, sure.
It's too open. No. If you get so you're stranded on an island. You have unlimited golf balls. but you can only bring one club. Which club are you bringing?
Oh man, that is a good question.
Love that he's thinking about it.
46 degree.
Really?
6 degree.
Yeah.
So like
I think it's
pitching
you can hit it-
wedge right around there. Gap.
Yeah.
Would that be your gap wedge or a pitching wedge for you?
That's my pitching wedge.
Yeah.
You can hit full shots with it. You can still hit full swing. You can still hit chips with it. You can still hit flops with it. You can still hit. It's still an open enough face. You can hit trick shots with it. Like whole package.
That's a
That's a good answer. You can do that same thing with a driver, though. No.
It's pretty hard to hit a driver flop. I want to see somebody hit a driver flop.
Oh man, that's
Me
okay.
and Timmy, we just chose driver because just nothing better than nuking those things out into the ocean.
I love short game so much, so I have to pick that.
No, I respect the hell out of that.
I chose putter. I'm
Brendan
gonna
chose
hit those
putter.
45-foot putts, baby. I'm so excited. I got a green right there for me.
Now do you?
Yep, I'm gonna hit those. I'm gonna come back and I'm gonna be one putt Brendan. Little shout out to Charlie, little one putt Charlie over here. No,
dude, he's gonna call me and be like, "Yo, thanks so much, man."
We get 50 people to listen to this, so congrats, Charlie.
If I post it,
I'm joking.
Doubt it.
But thank you. No, we appreciate it, obviously. But yeah, they like dragged me for that answer. Like I was in a bad state for a couple days after that conversation.
Gotta get that short. Dude, putting is such a weird art, but it's so much fun.
Yeah, I wish I
get you there.
Nope. One day, maybe stranded on the island, I would get there. But right now, me and 5-footers are still the enemy. But maybe one day we'll get there.
Yeah, it sucks sometimes for me because I love putting and honestly, again, Kevin has made me love putting because before I was like, oh my god, like it was like my least favorite part. And then once I started to figure out like really green reading and really having an actual good putting stroke really helped. Somehow I don't know how that helps, but it just became more fun. But I can't do it for long periods of time because just bending over like that, it just burns the crap out of my lower back. Still got to get those back muscles a little stronger.
You got to pull a Connor and just get the big old
belly putter.
Get the belly putter, man. Got to pull one of Tim's buddies. Connor has a belly putter, and it is absolutely glorious.
Goodness, dude.
No, it's not even a belly putter. It's the Adam Scott.
Like
Adam
all
Scott
the way
here.
up. Oh yeah.
I can do that because it require even more bending over.
Yeah.
You're back, yeah. Back
like I'm gonna break something again, dude. Like,
good luck with that. The back sucks, I'll tell you.
Yeah.
Back float. Yo, get this freaking roller. This little ball that you roll up and down it. It's you probably.
I've been using the Theragun a lot.
That's great too.
Those are awesome, and I work like twice a week with the PT guy. Just like proactive stuff, like a lot of core stuff, protecting my back.
Right.
And that's helped a bunch too. Like I'm not in pain anymore. I'm trying to get bigger and gain weight, but at the same time, I'm like, I can't do like I'm not going to go squat 200 pounds and be like, I gotta get big, you know.
You don't need to. I mean, you don't technically need to.
I still want to get a little bigger. I mean, I'm 5'8". I gotta put some muscle on. Come on now.
Landon, if you need any weight, but I will happy donate a couple, at least 10 to 15 lbs for you. Would love to.
Thank you, dude. I need some muscle. I need some muscle.
Oh man, that's funny. Yeah, I knew that Theragun officially made it when I saw it in the PGA Tour Superstore, and I'm like, they are now catering. Like they're saying that this is great for athletes and great for everything. They're now catering this to 65-year-old men who are coming off the golf course, and they're like, "Ow, my back." Like that is what the Theragun is now going to be used for.
Yep.
I almost bought one for my dad for Christmas. I'm not going to lie.
They're honestly great, dude. Like I put it up on my shoulder near my neck. Like I can taste my thoughts. Like it's
I can feel it right
wild.
now. I'm just doing that. That'd be amazing. Oh, well, Landon, Thank you very much, my man. This was an unbelievable conversation. We really appreciate you coming on. By the way, we didn't even talk about it, but congrats on the commitment to Elon. That's awesome, man.
Huge.
We'll
Appreciate
definitely be hoping to see you on that PGA Tour U list soon. Hopefully,
You can
one
bank
day.
Timmy checking those stats out every now
He's
and again.
gonna do. He's,
I'll be
I hope
following
so.
you.
I'll come
hard.
back on when I get up there.
no, you're gonna be starred. Tim's gonna have you right there. Favorite PGA Tour U player. Boom, Landon Durham.
Updates
like
to my
that. I
phone.
like that. That's perfect. Dude, what's really cool is like because I'm sorry, I know we're ending, but
No, you're good, man, dude. Keep going. We don't have to end. Keep going.
because of my my TikTok following, I have a good amount of people that like watch my live scoring at a bunch of events, and like it's so cool to be like finished, and then all of a sudden I like have like 13 to 20 DMs on my phone or messages like, saw your live scoring, like good round today, or even better, saw your live scoring today, sorry man, go get them tomorrow. Because that happens sometimes. I mean, but it's just really it's really cool to have that like genuine support from my followers is just baffling to me. I'm very blessed with that.
That's awesome.
That's awesome, man. Well, we really appreciate it. If you want to make a quick anywhere we can find you on the internets or anywhere in real life, shout it out now.
I got a TikTok. I don't even. Oh, my TikTok's just my name, Landon Durham. My Instagram is ELDurham8, and that's really all the socials I have. But yeah, I might start posting on YouTube, so we'll see how that goes. But
do it, man. YouTube's hilarious. I love YouTube so much.
YouTube is fun. All I have right now is surf edits posted.
It's so silly. It's great. But Landon, thanks a lot, man. We appreciate you coming on this week.
Hey, I appreciate it. Tons.
Thanks, Landon.